Diablo Immortal is dropping a new gigantic update, the First and Last King, concluding the main story, introducing new zones, new bosses, battleground, and events. Blizz reached out for me to talk about it. But here's the thing. I haven't played this game in years, and chances are you haven't either. So to give it a proper overview, I had to go all the way back to the campaign, spending the last couple of weeks playing as much as possible of the game. So with that said, let's see what's going on in Diablo Immortal, shall we? And if the game's worth investing time in 2026. Starting us off, I'd call this game an MMO Lite. We have different servers, and on these servers, you'll run into a bunch of people everywhere. But it's not quite your classical MMO. When it comes to the classes, we have a whopping 9 classes to choose from, coming from 6, I believe, last time I played. We have the classic shit-smearing barbarian with skills like Spin to Win, Leap, Hota, and Wrath of the Berserker. I tried this one a bit, and it's basically what you'd expect from a barb. We have the Wizard, which I didn't try myself, but I did see someone running around shooting laser beams, which I would expect is Disintegrate. The Demon Hunter, probably my personal favorite out of the ones I played. This too has your classic Spin to Win button, strong mobility, and crowd control. You have the classical monk with lots of mobility and melee damage with some support skills. The Crusader, which is tanky as fuck and annoying to play against in PvP. The Emo, a low mobility but chill character using minions. The Blood Knight. I'll get back to this one soon, as it ended up my main. Next is the Tempest. This is a fairly new and unique class as well. It's basically a hybrid melee range class using wind and water spells combined with lots of mobility, making it annoying as hell in PvP. And finally, the latest class, the non-fat Druid. I only got to play this one in the early game, but got to say, this class is insanely well made, and I may actually re-roll to this one. Here, you have your typical shape-shifting skills, Werebear, Werewolf, and a Stag, in combination with companion skills and caster skills like Tornado and Landslide. The animations are top tier here, and the shape-shifting skills feels incredibly fluid. If you want to try something new out, I'd recommend this one. But personally, my main became the Blood Knight. This is a class I've never seen before either, and if you want a TLDR, it's a vampire with a spear. You can summon bats, you can use spear skills, and you can suck enemies off with your blood skills. It's cool as fuck, actually, something other ARPGs should consider. Alright, so that's the classes. You also have a bunch of choices when it comes to customization, if you're into that kind of stuff. I usually just select the generic one. When it comes to leveling, you always start off in the campaign. It took me about 8 hours to complete it, but you can do it faster if you just bomb rush the main story. It is a decent campaign though, and the cinematics and atmospheres are 10 out of 10, as you would expect from a Blizz game. Basically, the story is set in between D2 and D3, leaving us where the World Stone shattered, and your job is to help this poor old man collect the fragments. Because if you don't, demons will do it and fuck up the entire world. You'll explore the different regions of Sanctuary, including Hell, killing demons, looting, helping people, you name it. All the good stuff. And in this new update in particular, you can continue with the story from where it ends, concluding it. No spoilers though. While all of this is happening, the game is going to hold your hand. It'll tell you where to go, what side activities you should be doing, like upgrading your gear, socketing it, and so forth. Because if you don't do it, you're going to suck and have a tough time. The campaign is fairly easy, though. I suck, and I died maybe 2 times or something playing it. You'll also interact with endgame systems when you're playing the campaign, like rifts, dungeons, and more. And speaking of endgame, let's check it out, shall we? Because that's probably why you're here. Let's just preface this by saying that the endgame in Diablo Immortal is massive. I've tried probably most of it, but at the same time, I've only scratched the surface. You can easily play for hundreds or thousands of hours if you want to be at the top of everything here. And in case you wonder what the hell is above my character, that's a clan I joined. No idea what the name stands for, but hopefully nothing that'll get me cancelled. With that said, let's just take it one activity at a time. The first ones you're likely going to play are the dungeons, as you're running them in the campaign. But they fill a purpose in the endgame as well, because this is where you're farming your set bonuses. You simply go to your map, find your dungeon, and teleport to the nearest waypoint, and run there. Once there, you can see what set items drop from here in particular. Then, run the dungeon and pray that the correct items drop. Okay, and how the hell do you know if these set items are any good? Well, you look up a build guide, obviously, and here's something cool. In Diablo Immortal, this is built into the game already. You can go to your inventory and click this icon right here. You'll have a few recommended builds here, like this Endless Drain build, an Abomination build, both of which are for PvE, but you also have a PvP build and whatever the hell this is. But also, there's a whole community build section. And you can sort the builds for newest if you'd ever need that, but perhaps more importantly, most liked. And perhaps even more important, the top ranked ones, if you want to copy what the best builds are doing. Now that's good and all, and I'm sure that would be enough to find a build. But there's another option as well. You can actually play the builds. Yes, that's right. You can click the Try Build button and play the build in a rift without changing a thing. I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but man, that's pretty goddamn good. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's check out some more content. Starting with the Elder Rifts. If you ever need to find what something does in this game, you can press this info button. These are quick and dirty dungeons that you run solo in a group. You can add modifiers to up the loot, and you'll definitely want to run them for legendary gems, which is basically like an extra triggered unique effect or bonus that you slot into legendary gear, and to complete it, you just slaughter enemies, pick up loot, and repeat. Simple as that. Next to the Elder Rifts, you have your Challenge Rifts. This is your state-of-the-art dick measuring contest. You mainly run them to see how high you can go and find a spot on the leaderboards. Like for the Elder Rifts, you enter, kill as much as possible as fast as you can to fill the progress bar, fight a boss, and then go again. And speaking of leaderboards, they are server-wide, and you have them for a lot of the content in Diablo Immortal. You have the Shadows, which I haven't fully grasped yet, but it's a form of clan activity where you do raids, group activities, special content to gain power within your clan. And then once the cycle ends, you'll fight off other Shadow clans, and the winning Shadow clan fights off the winners from the previous cycle, also called the Immortals. Apologies if I butchered the explanation, but that's how I understood it. You have battleground leaderboards, although reserved for players in higher difficulties. Vanguard Elite, which is a form of co-op activity. The Heliquary, this is your raids, grouped after time and how high you've pushed. Warbands, which is like a clan but smaller, where you're ranked after your raid progression. And finally, Defense of Sirengar, which is a form of wave arena type of activity. Okay, that's a lot of activities. Let's check out some you may be interested in, starting with the Battlegrounds. Honestly, I find it sad that more ARPGs don't incorporate interesting PvP. In Immortal, you have 2 Battleground modes currently. But also on the 24th of December, we're having a World of Warcraft crossover event, including Lich King and Sylvanas cosmetics, legendary gems, and more. Okay, and what the hell does this have to do with Battlegrounds? Well, included in more here is actually Cutthroat Basin, which is an Arathi Basin-inspired 8 versus 8 battleground from World of Warcraft. Time to rush stables once again. Anyhow, currently we have these 2 battlegrounds. We have a convoy battleground where you want to escort an idol while defending against attackers. If you escort the idol far enough, you win. Simple as that. For the other mode, you have Assault. Here you have attackers and defenders. The attackers need to destroy an ancient heart following a few different phases. Overall, these battlegrounds are bangers. Teams are grouped for similar power and rank, and for the battlegrounds I ran, they were fairly balanced. And fun as long as you're not getting spawn camped by degenerates. Next activity we need to check out is the raids, because this is yet another activity I've always wanted in my ARPGs. Here you have different sets of bosses depending on your difficulty. If you meet the recommended requirements, then you can quick match and run them quickly. If not, I suppose you'll have to find a group yourself. The bosses are then fought in groups of 1 to 8 people, and there are a lot of difficulties and different bosses here. And now with the First and Lich King update, they dropped additional ones. The raid bosses have their own mechanics you'll have to dodge, and they're quite difficult, at least if you're not properly geared. Alright, friendly viewers, that's just about all I've managed to test so far of the game. There's a bunch more to explore though, and honestly, if you haven't tried Diablo Immortal yet, I strongly advise you to try it out. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored, the game actually has a lot to offer. With that said though, let's cover the elephant in the room. No, not your wife, but rather pay to win. While the game has lots and lots of content to discover, the game is free to play, and surely it ought to have pay to win, right? Probably, but here's the thing. Unless you're pushing for rank 1, it does not matter at all. Just play the game as you want and have some fun. And since the game is free to play, no one's forcing you to do anything apart from pressing the subscribe button. Alright, that concludes it. Click the link in the description to check the game out for yourself, including the end of the Worldstone Saga, the 2 new zones, Barrow Tombs of Oghild and Entsteg Bailey, the new raid bosses, the World of Warcraft crossover, including Lich King and Sylvanas cosmetics, the Arathi Basin Battleground, new holiday events, a new battle pass with themed rewards, and more. And I'll see you in the next one.